how you flip it. Good morning, everybody. Clearly, I couldn't even flip the camera around, so I've never done this by myself. But good morning, family. I'm just scoping to this morning just to share an experience. We were asked yesterday to do a remembrance of, a time where we didn't know God and God stepped in and had his hand on our lives. So I remember, I don't know how old I was. I was a little girl. I think like before pre-K age. I have an older sister or whatever, so I'm assuming pre-K age because I feel like she was in preschool at the time. That anyhow, my mom and dad had taken just me and them to a restaurant for breakfast or lunch or whatever it was. I don't remember. I was little, and my mom told me that I could go outside, like right at the window, and play. And there was like a tree, but it was like a hole in the ground right next to the tree. And I remember falling in a hole in the ground. And there was like a war basically for me. Like I could feel things holding me down, like by my feet, like holding me down so I couldn't get up. But I could also feel like it was like a woman pulling me up, like trying to get me up out the hole. And I remember telling my mom said, I've been telling her this since I was a little girl. She said that it never happened. But like, I can remember it. I can remember it clear as day. Like the lady who was pulling me up out of the ground had like a pretty pink dress on. And she was able to lift me up out of the ground, even though things were like holding me and like trying to grab me back down. Like I wasn't afraid. Like I remember this, like I wasn't afraid or anything, but she was able to pull me up out of the ground and get me up out of the hole or whatever. So my mom says I've been telling her this for years, but she said that it never really happened. She said that she never let me go outside at a restaurant by myself. She never would, turn her back and not be watching me for me to fall into a hole. She said it never happened, but she said that for years. I'm 33 years old and I still remember this event, this experience or whatever, but she said it never really happened. And as I've gotten older and now that I know who Jesus Christ is and who he is in my life, I realized that it was a war for my soul. Like I really truly believe that it was a war for my soul. Like the enemy wanted me. That's what was like holding me down, like demonic forces holding me down, not trying to let me come up out of this ground, not trying to let me come up out of this hole or whatever. Like it was dark. It was all darkness. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see what was holding me down. All I could see was the woman that was pulling me up out of the ground. Like, and I believe she was an angel. And I believe that it was truly like a war for my soul. That happened. And then like, a few years ago, quite a few years ago now, I remember like laying in my bed and there being like, I was getting to know Christ. I was getting to know Christ for myself. And there was like a darkness, like I was afraid. This caused me fear. I was lying on my bed and like it was a darkness that like stood over me. It wasn't like a big darkness. It was like a smaller, like, I don't even know how to explain it, but it was like just a darkness that stood over me. Good morning. And I remember like jumping up because I was lying down. I remember like jumping up and like I didn't know what to say. Like I didn't know how to like pray and cover myself. All I could remember saying is like Jesus, like what was that? And I felt it when I said Jesus, like I felt it jump away from me and jump to the other side of the room. So I feel like God has always been with me, always been on my side, always been, for me, always been, with me and like not allowing the enemy to have me. Like I feel like the enemy has wanted me. I don't know if it's like something that's been on my family or what, but I feel like the enemy has tried and, and God has not allowed him to succeed. And I praise God for that. And I also wanted to share, I'm just so excited. I'm just so super excited, for what God is doing. Like God is super good. He's super good, like super amazing. Through the years, like I've been getting to know God. That's what I already shared it. That's what I opened up with, sharing about how I fell in that hole. So replay. But God is super good. Like, I just been having all of these different experiences with God as of late. You know, I've had my husband being able to share with me and teach me different things through the years, but I was sharing with him yesterday that he's been teaching me all these things and trying to learn how to tap into the prophetics and all of that. But I really never was putting in the real work. Like, I would pray and say, God, I want you to do it. But it was like, I just wanted God to do it. Like, I didn't want to put forth no work or whatever. So just recently, like, I really been trying, like, just seeking God, and just like, man, it's just been amazing, because he's been really showing up and showing out in my life, giving me different like visions. I've been able to hear from him more clearly, like, and it's been super amazing. Like, I'm super excited about what God is doing in my life. And good morning. I just wanted to encourage anybody today, like, if you want more of God, like truly want more of God, like, there's going to be some sacrifices that you got to make. Like, sometimes we just want God to do a thing or whatever, but there's things that we have to do. There's requirements that, are for us to complete too. So I just encourage y'all to seek God wholeheartedly with all that you have, because he's good. He's amazing. Amen. Have a good day, y'all. How you stop it? Yeah.